This is part 3 of the Paris Street scene, and I hope you have enjoyed watching this painting come to life. I don't know what I'm going to title it yet. If you have an idea, go ahead and put it in the comments. Subscribe, hit the bell. Hey, share and like it too. That'd be helpful. Thank you very much. Hello, merry friends. I have just finished the Paris Street scene. I think it really says what my heart says about this scene.
Okay, as you can tell, I have sped this up a little bit so that it would be pleasant to watch and not take too long. I'm again fighting with the perspective on this building. And as you just saw in the clip before this one, I ended up completely re-editing that entire part of the building in order to give it the correct perspective at the end. So still fighting with that. That is okay. Artists respond to what's on the page. We make a mark, and then everything after that is responding to each mark in turn. And then we correct it. Some people get the idea that artists just sit down, good artists just sit down and know exactly where they're going to put every stroke, and that's just not true. Not even the best artists know that. Everything we do is a response to whatever came before. So if there's a white canvas, we're responding to a white canvas, a white piece of paper, anything like that. We're just responding, and then we respond to that, and then we respond to that, and then we respond to that. That's why I always say you have to go into your studio with a what if idea, and then you have to try something. And if it doesn't work, then you have to try something else. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to work. You're searching for what makes you happy. Reestablishing. As I cut back in on that building, then the building across the street, of course, had to be brought in. So I'm doing that. Again, cutting in, taking the perspective back and down. So I'm having to redo sky, having to redo the building. I will have to redo the windows. And here in a minute, I believe you're going to see me get out a pencil and work with a pencil. Let's see what I'm about to do. Choosing colors. Choosing the colors for the windows that I have to reestablish. And I'm taking a little bit more care at that this time. Last time I kind of swiped them on, and then I wasn't real happy with how they looked. So I'm thinking more carefully about that. This side of the building has to be established as well. I don't want to bring it too forward, but it is darker on that side since it's facing away from the evening sun there. And so you'll see me dull it down even further from what it is right now. So also just trying different colors. Again, I just use that board on the side, see what I want, see how I like it. I still have to work on the tree and the light. There we go. See, I'm just having trouble finding the right color for, I believe I'm about to work on the tops of those windows. Yep, that's what I was working on. It has to be a color that doesn't come forward too much. It has to be dark enough to make an impression, give you the idea of those windows. I didn't like that color, so using my little brush. Aha! Here I go. Pencils. Sometimes in small areas, it's good to get out a pencil where you have a little bit more control than what you have with the sticks. And the color kind of goes on a little bit lighter, a little less heavy, and can help you to establish the detail that you want without, again, this is more of an impressionistic thing, so I want to be very careful not to add too much detail. I'm adding a little bit more form to those windows, starting to like it. I'm touching them to knock off the harshness of the marks. And push it back into the distance. That building is across the street and it is not the star. So I'm pushing it back, reestablishing the terraces up there. And again, pushing it back by de-emphasizing it. So, yeah, and getting the side of the building again. Just taking it down. I'm using a little bit duller color there to push it back so it doesn't grab your attention too much. Again, I want the attention on the light. Adding the light into this tree. This tree is catching a lot of the light from the cafe, and it gives you real sense of how intimate this space is, that tree is catching that light. This just looks really cool too. So as I said before, I am taking that tree at the top down. I'm pushing it back with some darker colors and de-emphasizing it with some darker colors. Very gently, trying to keep it very random and natural looking. And I will add a little bit of light on the underside of it as well, because in actual fact, it's closer to you as the viewer. That's how come it's taller. So it is, I'm adding a little bit of light on the underside of that as well to give you that feeling. All right, still not happy with that building. As I said, I will eventually go in there and fix that perspective. I'm just adding a duller color so it doesn't jump out at you so much. In this case, I do keep that duller color later on and even add some details into that building. Just adding some more details at the top just to give you that feeling that that's still part of the building. Dropped my pastel. Go digging for it. All right, sorry my head's in the way. I'm just adding some detail to this fellow walking down the walk. He had gotten a little obscured with some other marks, so I wanted to add him back in. Give him a little bit more presence without getting too bogged down in details. He is backlit, so the front of him is going to be very dark. Some more on this person who is closer to the viewer and wearing like a hoodie, so don't need a lot of details. And then the person that's behind both of them is getting a little bit of attention with a lighter color. Even though he is backlit, he's further back. So to push him back into the distance, I'm using a slightly lighter color. Not a lot, it's still dark because he's still backlit. Getting a little light on them so that they have a little form, giving him a face. Eventually you'll see me correct that with a pencil. So it didn't quite come out the way that I had hoped that it would. So you just using that pencil to help with those, not in a detailed way. The walk behind there has a lot of light coming on it, but obviously because it's down below, it doesn't pick up as much light as, say, the tree or the side of the building. So trying to give that walkway a kind of a feeling there. Carrying the dark feeling around the edge of the image because, as I mentioned in part 2, I want that. I want my darks. I want my dark values to kind of be connected all the way around the edge of the painting. It's always a really good idea, whenever possible, to simplify and connect your darks. All right, I begin work on the accursed arch. It is difficult, and as you noticed in the clip before, I ended up adjusting it yet again after working on it here, and became very much happier with it. Arches are hard unless you're looking straight at them. Getting the perspective correct. I hope that you can see, looking at this, all of a sudden that it's just way too tall. It is bigger than it ought to be. So I'm going to try to make it shorter. Yeah, so it just took a lot of working to get that arch to even come close. Then I noticed that inside the arch there is a wrought iron gate. I don't like it, so here's my canned air. Off we go. And we will reestablish it. Going to use my pencil again to try to get better perspective on it. I fight with this for quite some time. I have redone it over and over. That is so normal. If you are an artist and you're having trouble with that, be assured that you are in the majority, not the minority. This is not a talent, it's a skill, and we have to practice it over and over again. So as I continue, you will see me do that. Just adjust and mark and respond, and mark and respond. And don't forget to breathe while you're doing that, and smile and have a good time, because that's what it's all about. I continue to try to get the light and the perspective right for, again, for a very long time. So I don't know what else to say about that arch. You just have to keep trying. And it's not a shameful thing. It's a good thing. It's how you learn. It's how you grow as an artist. It's how you develop skills. It's not a matter of getting it wrong. It's a matter of doing it until you can't get it wrong. All right? So that means sometimes you have to get it wrong. In the end, I take that color out. It is way too warm and it jumps forward, not giving you the idea of the recess in the arch. So if you, you'll see it at the end. There's a good video of just the painting itself at the end, and you'll be able to see that I made those modifications. Again, working on the light on the walk. That's going to be important for establishing perspective as well. Checking my reference photo again to see, I'm going to begin adding a few more details very loosely, but adding a few more details. I will be adding the words eventually. See, I'm fighting with that arch again. Yep, that color's just going to be too bright. I noticed that there's some kind of a reflection on the side here. In the end, I end up obscuring that. I bring it too far forward and it's too eye-catching and does not help with the perspective. So, but I'm trying to stay true to what I'm seeing in the photo. Sometimes that's a disadvantage. All right, here is the final piece.